Hello, my name is Chris. Thanks for taking the time to learn more about the BluBracket solution. Today, I'm going to walk you through a high-level overview of the BluBracket solution, and we're going to start off with a common workflow that we hear from our customers. Now, there's a lot of different ways that this could happen. This is just one scenario. In this case, this is Stephanie. Stephanie is a developer that's a part of the Blue organization, and she's been working on some credit card functionality and specifically some Stripe functionality. You can see this is a Stripe widget. It's a JavaScript file that she's working on. And what she's going to do is she's going to go ahead and she's going to commit this back to the master file. Now, this could be part of a CI/CD pipeline. This could have an approval workflow, but for today's demo purposes, I did not create a branch. She's just going to be committing this back to master. The other thing to point out is I'm using VS and I'm using the GitHub desktop client. This could be leveraging any other open source tools that your developers might use, any text editors. This also works perfectly fine with inside the native CLI. So Stephanie's going to go ahead and commit this, and we'll go ahead and push this out. You know, and Stephanie's proud of the work that she's done here, and this is a pretty common thing that we hear. You know, a lot of times it's not a malicious act from your developers internally. It's, you know, their portfolio, and this is something that they want to be able to add to their portfolio for future jobs and to be able to showcase their skill sets. So in this case, and again, this is pretty common, Stephanie's going to come in and copy this. She could fork this. She could actually take the actual raw file as well. There's a lot of different ways this could happen. But she has this new projects file here, and it's the same Stripe widget JavaScript file, but it's actually a part of a public repo that is outside of the enterprise org that BluBracket's actually monitoring. And she's going to go ahead and save this, and we're going to go ahead and just commit this as well. So you can see here, you know, here's this Blue demo organization. This is the Citium 360. This is the original commit that she put in. Here's the public one that we actually just committed. And you can see here some of the changes that have come in. She's going to go ahead and commit this out to master. Now, this happens a lot with our customers, and there's a lot of different ways, whether it's an employee, a contractor, a trusted developer, an outside collaborator. The challenge that we've heard, you know, from a lot of our customers, and early on when we were going through the development phases, is, you know, how do I get better visibility? A lot of the open source tools out there are really specific to the developer, but from an InfoSec standpoint, how do I get visibility? How do I feed this into my SOC? How do I get alerts that actually are worth my time to go investigate? A lot of the companies we've talked to have tried open source tools, and they can be very noisy. And that's really where BluBracket comes in. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to slide over here, and we're going to actually pull up and take a look at the BluBracket admin dashboard. So this is the BluBracket admin dashboard. The first thing that you're going to see when you come in is the actual blueprint. And we're going to go ahead and refresh this because we have some new data that's actually come in. And you'll notice that up top, we're going to surface up alerts. Now, these are alerts. We have about 50 or so different events that we include out of the box. Everything from tokens and secrets to repo activity, clones on developer endpoints. We're able to show code copies that we find outside of your enterprise code server. So even if they're public or private, we have the ability to crawl the extended universe of GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket and be able to report back those code copies. But the blueprint's going to provide a high-level overview of everything that's going on inside of the enterprise organizations that we're monitoring and those specific repos. So we'll come back to alerts in just a second. From an insight standpoint, you know, we're going to provide a high-level overview of what's happening. We'll show diff changes the next time you log in. So if repo counts have gone up or down, you'll be able to see those. And then everything else below is going to be interactive. So all of these are dynamic graphs. So here we're showing repos by category. We can show them at the contributor level, the accessible level. And all of these are ones that we can drill into. So if I drill into this Blue demo, it's going to take me into the repo view, and I'm able to see a more granular view of those 89 repositories that are a part of the organizations that we're monitoring and scanning for. And if I drill into these, we'll take a look at the Citium 361 because that's where Stephanie was originally committing. This is an enterprise private repo. And you'll notice that when I come in, I'm seeing a very granular view of this specific repo at an alerts level, an events level, the clones that have happened, who has access, who's been actually contributing and committing to this repository, and then any code copies that we might have found. So the alerts piece, this is where you're able to come in and do your investigation. And if you recall back on the blueprint section under alerts, this is where you could also see these. So new alerts that are surfaced up, these are ones that you've not investigated. You have the ability to drill into these, and they'll actually take you into our alerts and events view. This is pre-filtered since I selected that. So you can see I'm looking at enterprise private and actual private repos. And specifically the alert type I'm looking for is found secret and repo. Again, if I were to come out of this and come directly into the alerts and events, all of those filters are going to disappear. I can go ahead and filter these out based on the different alerts that have actually been surfaced, the repo types. We do have the ability to classify and start to label these repositories. That makes it easier if it's something that's confidential or something that's high risk. You have the ability to come in and take a look at this at a much more granular level. So I can click into confidential and see all my repos that have been tagged confidential. And this becomes really important as we start to do blocking of code egress and being able to tie this into your existing security solutions like your DLP and your CASB tools. But if we go back in and quickly take a look at repos, again, you'll see the same thing under the repo view, both alerts and events. And like I mentioned with alerts, these are ones that are worth investigating. So you'll notice here the timestamp. You can see here it's August 5th. About 9:34 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. And if I drill into this, I'm able to see, here are a couple secrets that Stephanie has just committed. And in this case, I'm able to come in, I'm able to see the actual link and URL for where that file is within inside of, in this case, GitHub. And if I drill into this, it will actually take me directly in and show me the exact line and highlight where this is within inside of the GitHub repo and that specific JavaScript file that Stephanie was committing to. BluBracket doesn't store any of the tokens or secrets within inside of our database. Everything is fingerprinted, and we create a unique secret hash. And this is what we use to be able to look up any new commits that are coming in. And as we analyze them and as we start to crawl extended universe, and we're able to report back where those code copies are and where your actual PII and your information is sitting in open source as well as public Git. We're going to show the commit IDs and then the repo names as well. And in this case, I can come in as the administrator and I can see, you know what, this is a private repo. I'm not too concerned with this. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to dismiss this out. So once you dismiss these, they actually get dumped directly into your events view. Everything's going to live in perpetuity in the events view. And from here, you can see I'm able to come in and see other commits that have come into this specific repository. I could even export this out and filter this and export it to a more granular level. All of this information is available via our events API. So we do have the API references, so you can query this and you're able to send this information over to a third-party tool like a BI tool, SIM solution, to where you can parse this out and surface up your own specific alerts or events, open up support tickets and so forth. For this repo, we're going to show if there are any clones. In this case, there are not any clones specific to this, but we do have the ability to show what clones have actually ended up on your developer machines. We're able to show who has access to this and at what level. In this case, access records aren't available for this. Who's actually putting in commits and where code copies are. And this piece is where we're going to take a look at for just a second. So if you recall, Stephanie actually did commit to this new projects repo. This was the event where I actually took it and copied it from the enterprise private repo and committed it to that public. And you'll notice here when I drill into this, you can see now that here's the Citium 360 repo. Here's the new projects repo. We're showing the information. I apologize, this was an external, but it's an enterprise repo that's a part of a different organization. But we are able to show that these commits took place. And down here, you can see the specific files that were impacted. And if I drill into these, you can see specifically, this is the file. You can see the timestamp of 8.5, and I can drill into this and I'm able to see in real time where this commit happened, where the original source was, and then who committed it actually into where we located the code copy and any commit messages that have come with it. The last thing I'll quickly show you under alerts and events is if we come in, you'll notice that the two most recent timestamps are those AWS secret keys under the alerts view. But one of the things that was actually a part of that were some strike keys. And this is part of the logic that's built into the BluBracket solution. If we go into events, you're actually going to see, here are those strike keys, but since they're test keys, we actually remove them from the alerts view, and we do provide the ability for you to take this to an even deeper level through our rules engine and start to define rules. So if you're in an alert and you want to be able to come in and dismiss this, or dismiss and ignore, or dismiss and define a rule, we provide you the ability to do that. That way we're surfacing up alerts that are really just important to you. This cuts down on the noise and also the number of false positives. But specifically to this was actually BluBracket doing this. This is just part of our logic. You can see here, this is a stripe test key. If I come in, you can see the actual path name. And if I drill into this, you can see here, they're both test keys that we're showing. And this is something that our system understands. This is a test. And we're going to go ahead and dismiss that from the alerts being surfaced, but we do include that activity in our events log. So all of this is staying here. You really treat the alerts view as, what do I need to go investigate on a daily basis, and what's actually important to me. And as our system starts to understand what's important to you as an organization, the logic and the machine learning that we have built in will be able to start surfacing up more actionable alerts that are relevant to your organization. The final piece I'll show you is the developer view. We do provide a very in-depth view of what your developers are. We can tie this directly into your SAML solutions. If you guys are using something like Okta or Ping, Azure AD, we have the ability to pull that in and get a more deeper view of what's actually going on or who your developers are. We also do have a SCIM integration. So this allows us to start understanding not only who's a part of your organization, but where you might be impacted as developers and outside collaborators are coming in from outside of your organization. We'll pull up in developer groups as well as the specific developers. And if I drill into these, in this case, we can take a look at Basker. Just like you saw in the repo view, the alerts and events view, we're going to show alerts that are specific to Basker. We're going to show any events that are associated with Basker, what Basker actually has access to, what clones maybe Basker has participated in, and what commit history in the past Basker's actually taken a part of. And in this case, I can see there's a repo from 629. And if I drill into this, it'll actually take me directly in. In this case, this was a GitLab one. And it will actually take me directly in and show me that specific file, because this is a private repo where Basker actually made that commit. The last piece I'll show is the code scanning piece. So we do include, like I said, the 50 or so different events. And we also have a library of tokens and secrets that have been standardized on by the various vendors: AWS tokens, Azure, Google OAuth, Stripe, Dropbox Box, just to name a few. But we really wanted to make sure that we included a library that we had a high confidence rating on, of when we surface those up, they're actual, in this case, tokens and secrets. But we understand that's not applicable for every organization. So we do allow for custom scans, and you have the ability to come in here and define your own custom regexes that will include, as we go through and analyze any existing repos and any net new commits that come in. Thank you for your time today. I hope you enjoyed the demo and overview, and please feel free to book time if you'd like to see a more in-depth demo or if you have any additional questions. Thanks, and have a great day.